Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's meeting for the Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley. My name is Tsiat Kushirov, and I'm the president-elect for this Rotary Club. And we're happy that you have chosen to join us this week. Here at the Rotary Club of Silicon Valley, we bring to you interesting programs every week that focus on innovation, entrepreneurship, and education. And this week, we have a special treat for you. We have Nicole Pham, who's going to be talking to us about the impact of a mini grant that she actually recently applied for and that she was able to receive and implement in Vietnam. So very exciting program ahead, and I'll hand it over to Nicole to tell us more.
All right, thank you, Fiaco. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to my presentation. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, just take 1 second. All right, can everyone see my screen? All right, let me present. All right, so I wanted to tell you all about a project that I worked on this previous summer, 2018, and I entitled it Nurture the Youth of Vietnam. And so my name's Nicole Pham, and I'm currently a medical student at Samuel Merritt University, and I'm studying podiatry here in California. And I'm alumni of UC Davis, Go Aggies, and I've actually been involved in the Rotary family for 10 plus years. I was very involved in Interact as well as Rotaract and Rotary, and so the Rotary family is very important to me. And one of my passions in life is actually serving underserved communities, both locally and internationally. And so for the past few years, I've spent a lot of time overseas on medical missions in Vietnam. And during those visits to Vietnam, I'd spend 2 weeks in a rural community, and we would provide free healthcare for these individuals. We provided services like optometry, primary care, OB-GYN, dentistry, pharmacy, everything, you name it, we provide it. And so we want to really create a lasting relationship with these rural communities and to help them and train their doctors as well. And so because this was the summer before I started medical school, and I knew I wanted to do a lasting project, something that would help a lot of people. And so I thought about the great things that Rotary does, and I was thinking about the mini grant, and I thought, hey, why not collaborate the two things? Work with Rotary and, bring the good word of Rotary and the message that they bring to Vietnam with me. And so I was brainstorming different projects I could do. And so just to give you an idea, during the medical mission, so a patient will come in, be treated, and at the end, they're given medicine and toys and food and items such as that. And so I thought, why not take it one step further? And so I thought about the children. So this project kind of stems from my own family. My mom grew up in Vietnam, and she would always tell me about how she couldn't afford things like a backpack. Like a lot of children have to just use a plastic bag to carry their school books and their pencils. So I thought I could help these children. And so I thought it would be wonderful to be able to give them these tools to help them succeed further, because it's so vital that a student has something simple like a pencil, right? And if they can do well in school, they can get a job one day and change their entire life and their families' lives. So I thought, let's do a grant where I can help these children and I can distribute them at the medical mission. And so through donations from the Campus Rotaract Club of Davis, as well as the match donations from the Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley, I was able to purchase the following. So I bought 6,000 children multivitamins, 70 backpacks, 130 notebooks and pencils, and 1,000 stickers for fun, because kids need fun things too. And so these are the beautiful backpacks that were actually purchased. Something that I struggled with a couple months before my trip was, how am I supposed to bring like 70 backpacks from America to Vietnam? Like, there's no physical way that I could like carry everything. So I contacted some people I knew in Vietnam. These backpacks were purchased by a friend of mine. Her name is Jenny Tran, and she's actually a full-time nonprofit worker in Vietnam. And I messaged her and I was like, hey, is there anything you can do? Like, do you know anyone? And she's like, no worries. I have vendors who can help you out. And so originally I only budgeted enough for 60 backpacks, and she was able to help me purchase 70 backpacks. So that's 10 more children who can receive backpacks. And so the backpacks that she helped me buy were actually really sturdy and really good quality backpacks. And I know that it will last many years and will really help these children go to school and be motivated to be in school. And so over the medical mission, us group of volunteers, we were able to serve at over 6 different orphanages and soup kitchens. We examined over 2,300 patients. We also examined over 200 monks and nuns at a rural temple. And we also helped train medical students in CPR. So as you can see, we did a wide range of things while we were in Vietnam. And so I wanted to show everyone a video of the medical clinic and our trip, and just to give you an idea what the flow of clinic is like and the patients that we saw and the community that we impacted. So it's about 4 minutes. I'm so sorry. Let me fix that. Start. Oh, technical difficulty. 1 second. So that video just shows kind of what we do during this medical mission. It's not just gaining medical skills, but it's also gaining friendships. And it's really important that we work together as a team, because the team really helped me a lot with my project. Like, they would help me haul all my school supplies from the hotel over to the bus, and they made sure that everything got to the children's hands at the end of the day. And so this picture shows the student volunteers. And so my medical mission group is called Vie and Hope, and we're comprised of about 50 medical professionals and 50 students. And we come from everywhere throughout the United States and Canada as well. And so it's really fun for everyone to come together and just work hard for 2 whole weeks in Vietnam. And so in this picture, I'm actually on the left, and my little sister is the one who's all the way in the right, and she's actually the current president of the Campus Rotary Club of Davis. So we're both very involved in the Rotary family, and it was very meaningful for both of us to work on this project together. She actually helped me a lot with the grant and just helping me buy supplies and helping me be able to distribute the gifts to the children as well. And so I just wanted to show some more pictures of what goes on at clinic. On the left, I have a picture of a child going through a visual acuity exam to test his eyes. And on the right, we have a picture of some student volunteers checking blood glucose for these monks. And then we also take blood pressure as well. And so at the end of the day, we're all just a giant community with us volunteers coming together with the Vietnamese community, and we just get along so well that you can't even tell who is who. The student volunteers, they're all the ones kind of standing, and then most of the community is like kneeling. But throughout the 2 weeks that we're in Vietnam, we eat with the local community, we spend time with them, we go on excursions together, as well as, you know, treating the patients locally, and we couldn't do it without everyone's collaboration. And so all in all, I just wanted to thank the Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley, the Campus Rotary Club of Davis, and Vie and Hope for helping me take a small idea that I had and turn it into a reality. And this little girl, she actually has one of the backpacks that was purchased. And so it just makes me so happy that she can take that backpack and go to school and hopefully one day get a job and be very successful in her life. And that is it for my presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. Wow. Thanks for sharing all these pictures, and the video was so awesome. Yeah. So when was this trip exactly? It was last year, yeah?
Yes, so I actually use an older video from the year prior, but it's about the same because we have a continued relationship with like these communities, and we go every single year, so the gist is the same. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so before we go through Q&A, I'd like to introduce the rest of the members that we have on the call over here. So we have Roger Plested from Canada, who is the chair of our programs committee. He's been very involved in bringing us amazing speakers over this past Rotary year. We have Rushton Hurley, who is our charter president. Thanks, Rushton, for being here. And we have the amazing Farheen Abbasi here as well. So I have a couple of questions for Nicole of my own, but maybe first, if one of you guys has a question, Rushton, go ahead.
Very, very cool stuff, Nicole. Awesome. I'm curious, just to kind of get it started, to think in terms of like, at what point were you like, I'm going to do a mini grant to do this? Like what was your process for kind of jumping into that?
So for me, usually a few months before my medical mission, I'll start accumulating supplies that I want to send in a giant brown box to Asia. And I thought, wow, like I love to buy everything for these kids, but I thought, you know, there are people who want to help too. like a lot of people I know want to contribute, but they just don't know how. And so I think I was just looking, and I think I was talking to Mitty Chang, and he's like, Nicole, why don't you look into the mini e-grant? Like, it really help you, and help you buy more supplies for the kids and like the people of Vietnam. Like, why don't you look into it? And I was like, you're right. What's holding me back? Literally nothing. And so that's why I decided, like, I could always do it by myself, but I could do it even better with like a group of people. So that's why I decided to do the mini e-grant.
Nice, very cool. So for those of our members and guests watching who may not be familiar with the mini grant program, it's something that we run in our club, and all members are eligible to apply for a mini grant. We open the application period 3 times a year, and you can apply for a mini grant of up to $250, which will need to be matched by another organization. And you can have a very impactful story like Nicole's, and anybody can apply. So look out in your emails, members of the Rotary Club of Silicon Valley, for the next open application period sometime soon. Roger, Farheen, do you have a question to ask as well? Go ahead, Roger.
No, is Roger muted?
Roger, you're muted.
I have a question in regards to the quality of the hospital that you were working at. Is it very modern, or is it with modern facilities, or is it quite, how can I put it, challenged?
I can say, compared to the hospitals I'm used to in America, in Vietnam, it's definitely a work in progress. When our medical mission comes, sometimes we're lucky enough to be able to work a few days in the hospital setting. But then even though it's a hospital setting, a lot of things are missing. A lot of times we do not have the necessary supplies or the machines that we're used to in America to help treat patients. Like during this past summer, there were a few days where we had to work in like a school setting. So it's not even a hospital setting at all. We have to make makeshift tables. We have to make things sterile. We have to make it clean. At the same time, it's not the correct type of environment, but we do what we can. And that's why a lot of our doctors come to Vietnam, and we have to help the medical students by training them in CPR, or we provide gifts of machines from America or Canada to help these facilities in Vietnam that do not have it. So they're definitely a work in progress, and I can tell, like, the doctors and nurses there are very compassionate. We actually work with them a lot too. It's a mixture of Vietnamese doctors and medical students, as well as American and Canadian doctors and medical students collaborating together, and we kind of share our skills with them, and they share their skills with us. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nicole, how does it work with the communities there? Do they, so it seemed like from the video, they sort of, go and wait for their turn. Is it a long wait for most of these people? Are they all from that community, or do they travel knowing that your mission is going to be there?
So what we do is a month before we arrive in Vietnam, we have a team in Vietnam actually that will send invitations to certain regions within the city. That way they don't all come the same day, right? So they're invited to come like on specific days at specific times. That way we're not too rushed with too many patients. And so every year the location changes a little. The past few years we've been in southern Vietnam. This past year I was actually at the border of Vietnam and Cambodia. So that was very different. We saw some Cambodian people as well, and there are also some, like, I guess, more indigenous individuals rather than just Vietnamese individuals. So that was really rewarding. And so they'll come, and unfortunately, everyone has to take their turn because there's actually a lot of stations that they go through. First, we take their vital signs, and then depending on if they're like male or female, adult or child, they'll go to different things. Like for children, we'll repair teeth, even do dentistry for them. And then also for children and adults, we also will even make eyeglasses. Like we'll do it on the spot for them, find them reading glasses and everything. And so sometimes the process may feel like all day, but for the patients, and we feel so bad, but we always provide food and snacks while they wait, and they're super thankful because a lot of these people, they never see a doctor at all. And so these opportunities, they really appreciate it. And so they're very willing to wait, always. Yeah.
It's nice that you incorporate a bit of the fun there and sew the balloons with the kids and all that stuff. So.
They love it. Yeah. We try to make it a fun environment. It's never a scary or stressful environment because a lot of children are scared of doctors just because of stories they hear, things like that. But we always make it a lively and fun place. And so it makes things less stressful for everyone.
Yeah, cool. Good call. So for Heen, go ahead.
Hi, Nicole. Thank you for your presentation. It was really great. Love seeing all the pictures. I have a question, I guess, about like culture, right? I believe you are of like Vietnamese background, correct? So, did you have any kind of cultural issues, or did you feel anything like that? Because I know that culture and medicine, right, are really important, and I also know that kind of Western tradition is very different sometimes than medicine in other parts of the world. So did you run into any of those issues, and if so, how did you solve them?
I think the main issue that I faced were the language barriers. It was really difficult for a lot of our volunteers because they're kind of like me. We were born in America, so our Vietnamese is a little slapdash, right? Our parents speak to us in Vietnamese, and then we answer in English. So I think a big part of this experience was making everyone really comfortable in Vietnamese and just like learning little phrases here and there. I had a lot of volunteers who were actually not Vietnamese. And I taught them a lot just to help them get by, because a lot of patients, they're nervous to see doctors, and when they see someone who's foreign, who can't articulate to them that everything will be okay, it like really worries them. So I try to help. I have my own team, like a team of volunteers that I overlook, and I help them learn things that will help them become more comfortable in clinic to make sure patients are more comfortable. But yeah, definitely, it's a big culture shock too, I think, for a lot of the American volunteers to come to Vietnam. They don't realize that the culture there is still, it's very different from America. Like women are a little scared to see like male doctors, for example. And so we always want to make sure, like during the OBGYN station, we want to make sure it's private for the patients. And we want to make sure that we're, preserving them and making sure that they're comfortable when we treat them. And so that's like a really important thing that a lot of us encounter in Vietnam. But overall, I think during the whole 2-week mission, everyone becomes more culturally competent as the time goes on. Yeah.
Thanks. That makes a lot of sense. The reason why I bring this up, for you especially, because you want to be a doctor, and for the rest of the team, there's a book that I read really recently called The Spirit Catches You and You Fall Down, and it's about have you read it?
Yes.
It's so good. Okay, so really just want to let you all know. So it's a really phenomenal book. I have never read anything like it before. It's a historical look at the Hmong community that the refugees that came, you know, during the war to America, and specifically talking about a community in Modesto and Fresno, in that area of California. No, Modesto, Fresno and what's it called? Merced. Sorry, yeah, that area. And specifically looking about how, you know, their culture and then Western medicine just don't match, and how the doctors treated the community and the patients. And it's a really amazing book, and that's why I asked that question, because I'm always really curious of, when we as Westerners, right, go into a culture, how do we interact with that space, and how can we be respectful but also, you know, treat people right? So I really appreciate your answer. That makes a lot of sense, and I think that's amazing. So thank you.
That's wonderful, because I, as a future physician, I actually really believe in natural medicine as well. It's just, I was raised on, you know, treating my symptoms like, you know, drinking ginger and tea, you know, when you're sick before you take, you know, medicine. And like, I think now a lot of people in Vietnam, they're more open to things like medications. They see that it's very helpful, but they integrate it with their own medicine. So that integration is very important to help the individual. So yeah, that's a great book. Highly recommended.
I really recommend it too, team. It's so good.
Well, thanks so much, Nicole. I think we're gonna start wrapping it up. I'll hand it over to you for a final word in just a moment. But for all of our members and guests who joined us today, we hope you found the program interesting. Please let us know you are here. Complete the attendance survey right below. And also, don't forget to leave a comment. Ask Nicole a question or comment on the program and her presentation. With that, Nicole, I'll throw it back at you for some final words.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for having me. I really do love the Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley. You guys do the best things ever. You guys are awesome. And so my final message, I guess, is that if you have an idea, just take it and run. And so I'm so happy that I took this small idea about this grant, and it manifested, and it actually happened in real life, and it helped so many children and so many individuals. And I know that in the future, I can always trust like the Rotary E-Club, as well as the Campus Rotary Club of Davis and BN Hope for you know, helping me make this happen. And I know it can happen again in the future. So, you know, for everyone out there, like, just go for it. It's definitely worthwhile, and a lot of people will be impacted. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Nicole.